Hello, this is Jay from A Stitch in Time Sewing Machine Center in Bemidji, Minnesota. Many of my customers are new to the embroidery and they're trying to figure out how they get their designs from their CDs into their computer and ultimately onto their new embroidery machines. So today we're going to be starting a series of lessons on how to work with these computer discs. And we're going to be creating an embroidery album so we can copy the files off the disk and save them for later. And then we can file the CDs away somewhere safe and don't have to be putting them in and out of the computer all the time. Then in the following videos we will show how to transfer them to your memory media, whether it's a computer stick or a compact flash drive, and get them into your embroidery machine. So to start with today, we're going to go down to the little start button and up to My Documents, and yours is going to look different than mine because you have different documents than I do. But what we're going to do is we're going to create a folder in here for our embroidery album. So the way we do that is we right click, we go down to New, and then we click on Folder. And what it does, it brings up this nice little box here, and it's going to say it's all highlighted blue, so I can start typing something in here. And I'm going to call mine Class Embroidery because I already have an embroidery album, but I would recommend you call it by your first name and then Embroidery Album. So if your name is Nancy, you could say Nancy's Embroidery Album. The reason for this is that way if someone else is using your computer, some family member or friend, they don't accidentally delete this because what are all these weird files in here? I don't know what these are. So I'm just going to call this Class Embroidery for me. And then I hit enter on the keyboard when I'm done, and there is my new folder. So I open that up. And then in here I will oftentimes divide this up into different manufacturers because different companies may have different designs and then they call them the same thing. Like Anita Good Design has one called Cupcakes, and Dakota Collectibles has one called Cupcakes, and they're very different designs. So what I do is I usually create a folder for each of my different vendors. You can create one that says online, whatever you want. But if you get a lot of designs from these two companies, or you get a lot of designs from Floriani, you can create these folders, a folder for each company, and then you'll know where to go more easily. So I'm going to right click, go to New, Folder, and type in Anita Good Design. Hit enter. I'm going to right click and go to New, Folder, and then type in Dakota Collectibles. Now those are the two companies that I use the most. Now I'm going to go into the CD I'm going to be using today is a CD that we gave out our big embroidery event back in July of 2013. And this has 8 designs on it. And so I open up Anita Good Design, and now I'm going to make a folder for this CD. Now if you have a CD that says Cupcakes, or you have a CD that says North American Wildlife from Anita Good Design, or anything else like that, you would make a folder in here named whatever that CD is. I recommend using the name that is on the front of the CD because it'll be easier to cross-reference later when you're looking for that particular design. So I right-click in the open space, click on New, click on Folder, and my CD is going to be Event Designs 2013. Oh, not 3013, we're not that old yet. 2013, and I hit enter, and now I double click on that again to open it up. Now there's no designs in here yet, but that's going to be the next step. So the next step is we go down to the Start button on your computer again, click on Start, and then click on Computer, and put your CD in your CD-ROM, and it will come up in here. Now each manufacturer has different ways of putting their designs on the CD. Some of them just put all the designs in one big long file, and you have to find the kind of format that you use. If you use Brother or Baby Lock, it's PES. If you use Janome, it's Jeff. If you use Singer, it could be XXX. Or Bernina, it's usually Art. But Anita Good Design is really good about sorting theirs into different sections. So we can see the design files are right in here. So I double click on Design Files. I also then will choose the brand that I am going to use. And for this one, we're going to use Brother Baby Lock PES. And just make sure that you choose the folder that you have for your machine. If you're using a Janome, choose the Janome. But since most of my embroidery customers use Brother PES, I'm going to select that one. So I double click on that to open it up, and here are all my different files. Now there's several ways you can do this. I can go in this little white space between these two, and I can click and drag a box around to highlight all the ones I want. I'm going to double click out here. I'm going to click out here to deselect it. Well, I should explain, mine has these little icons here. That's simply because I have Brother's PE Design Next embroidery software installed, and so that's why it's recognizing as this. Yours will show something weird, completely different in here. If you try and double click this on your computer, it's going to come up with a weird saying. We don't want to double click it. We just want to copy them. That's all we're doing here. So we can drag a box around here and select all of them. Or another way is if you hold down the Control key and click on A, that also selects everything. But you can also click on one, hold down the Control key, and click on another one, and another, and another. And this is very helpful if they're mixing all the sizes together. Like some people only have a 5x7 hoop, but some of these designs are 8x12 inches. And so thus you need to only select the designs that will fit in your machine for right now. And so this enables you to go through and select only those designs that work. Now today I want to select everything, so I drag a box around it and I right click on it and I click copy. Now nothing really changes. We don't see a big flash of a screen or anything, but it has saved those. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my other file that I have. Now notice I have these two files that are still open. I usually like to work with different windows because that way I can switch back and forth really easily. But I want to move these aside a little bit, so I can click in this top bar here and slide this over, and now I can see both windows very easily. So now I left click over here in my Event Designs 2013. That's the folder I made to store my designs in. So I right click over in the big open space and I click paste. And what it is now doing is it is copying all those files from the CD, and voila, there we are. They are all now stored on my computer. So I'm going to go back over here because I'm not quite done with my CD. I'm going to click the back button. I'm going to click the back button again. And if you can't figure out if your computer does not have this back button shown, you can go down to click on Start and then Computer, and you'll come back here as well. All of Anita Good Designs CDs come with tutorials, and that's in this folder down here. And tutorials are very, very useful, and I strongly encourage you to copy them into the same folder, because that way when you go to use the designs over here, you also have all the instructions. And normally there's only one file for that entire CD because it's going to have all the designs on that. But because this was an event, we had 8 different designs, and so thus there were 8 different tutorials. And just to show you what these tutorials look like, when you open them up, they come up with this little tutorial that shows you step-by-step guides in how to do all of these different designs, so that you can either print them out or put them on your tablet to set next to your computer or whatever else you want. It's a PDF file that you can take just about anywhere and use different things. So I want to select all of these. So again, I can click the little white area between, or just to the left of that design, and then I'm going to select these 8 tutorials right here. And there's a lot of other different stuff. You can take time to explore them, but I right click on them, copy, go over to my folder in my embroidery album, the Event Designs 2013, the one that I created. I right click in the open space and I click paste. And so now this is going to take just a little bit longer because these are a lot bigger files. But now I have all of my instructions being copied over onto my computer. Just give it a second here to finish. And there we go. So now I have each of these designs in here have a tutorial to show you how to do them. So just real quickly again, just to go over exactly what we did, I'm going to close out both of these windows. I went down to the Start button. I went to my Documents. I created a folder called Class Embroidery. You can call it your name. I created two folders. You only need to create one for whatever manufacturer you're using right now. I created the Need a Good Design file. I went in there and created a folder for that CD. You're going to want to create a separate folder for each CD. I went in there, and there are all my embroidery files, my PES embroidery files for my Brother embroidery machines, and the tutorials that show me how to use it. That is the extent of the lesson for today. Check back later, and we will have more tutorials on how to actually get those designs now from there onto a memory stick so that you can get them in your machine and start stitching them out. Thank you for watching. This is Jay, and at A Stitch in Time, we'll keep you in stitches.